This morning's guest will be talking about some healthcare issues. Stay tuned, he might have some solutions. You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Conway Medical's Wellness and Fitness Center. We're focused on health care, and we're visiting with the Senior Vice President for New Business Development of American Healthcare Solutions, Tom Feldman. Good morning,
Craig.
Tom.
Morning. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me. This is terrific.
Did you think you'd wake up on a Thursday morning and be sitting in a green chair on a basketball court?
On a fitness center? No.
At a fitness center like this.
Right.
Isn't this place amazing?
It really is. Have
you checked it out? Have you been out here before?
Well, I have. I've been out here on several occasions, and my wife is the Director of Volunteers at the Conway Medical Center.
Is that right? In
Yes.
this whole sprawling complex?
Right. And Georgianne, as a matter of fact, last week was National Volunteer Week.
Right.
And Georgianne had a luncheon last Thursday.
Is that right?
Where they recognize the volunteers who give their time and their effort at the hospital.
Right.
239 volunteers that last year gave to the medical center 42,000 hours of service.
Oh, come on.
42,000 hours of service.
239 volunteers
Right.
to Conway Medical Center gave up 42,000 hours of their time.
That's correct.
As volunteers.
As volunteers.
My Lord.
And the hospitals in the area all have a volunteer service and structure, which is a key part of healthcare.
Right.
As you can imagine, talented people giving back to the community.
Yes.
In various capacities. So they celebrated that event last Thursday.
Wow.
With recognizing those folks.
A week ago today. That is tremendous.
Isn't it?
You think about so many of the amazing institutions in our viewing area, up in Florence, McLeod, and Carolinas Hospital down here at the beach, obviously Grand Strand Regional,
Right.
and Loris, and
Right.
Conway Medical Center, and of course even folks over in Columbus County and Brunswick County. So much happening. Waccamaw Community Systems down there in Georgetown Memorial Hospital. Absolutely.
Right.
So much happening on the Waccamaw Neck and in Horry and Georgetown counties, Tom.
We're very fortunate to have the healthcare facilities that we have and the diversity within each of those facilities serving the needs of the population here in Horry and Georgetown counties. It's
right.
And actually up into North Carolina a little bit as well. So
we could easily have an entire week dedicated to health care, Tom. I mean, it would be very easy to make that happen. To think that we're in a position that we would have one guest in for one day during the week, but it was apropos or absolutely timely in that you have been doing this for a long time.
I've been doing it since there's been a new program called Medicare.
That new little program Medicare.
Called Medicare. And,
wow.
But it's a rewarding career. It's been a very rewarding career, and actually, as a result of being able to make a difference in people's lives and in serving the community and giving back, I've had the good fortune to be able to stay in the business.
Absolutely.
And, I really enjoy it. So.
Are you originally from the area, Tom?
No, we're not. Our family visited Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Our first opportunity was the direct result of the blizzard of '77. We came down in '77.
Is that right? 1977, literally 30 years ago this year.
Came down, and we actually fell in love with the area, with the community, and came back every year during the kids' spring breaks.
Right.
And then in 1989, actually built a home here.
Is that right?
In Little River.
Oh, boy.
Where we are today.
You and Georgianne are there now?
We are. And we had the opportunity to build the house. We did. And we would then use it as our for vacation and time off. And it worked out really well. And Georgianne and I moved down in 2000. And Georgianne had an opportunity to become the Director of Volunteers at Conway Medical Center.
Tremendous.
I actually had an opportunity to work at the Lighthouse Care Center.
Oh, yeah.
That had started up and I was a financial officer there. And then had actually decided to maybe kind of semi-retire again. And a friend of mine and a colleague had developed a consulting firm 3 years ago.
Right.
And a year ago asked me if I would join them. And I did. And now I'm working full-time back with American Healthcare Solutions.
American Healthcare Solutions.
Right.
A pretty big, to hear the word solution and to have it in the same associated with the words healthcare, must be a lot going on with the company right now.
There is. We have an awful lot going on. We have two offices. Our office is in Pittsburgh, and we have an office in San Diego. And we have about 40 folks working with us.
Is that right? Pittsburgh and San Diego. Is there a main office? Is it here on the East Coast?
Pittsburgh.
Right, right.
I'm part of the virtual office. But that makes it easy. I'm in and out of a town through
Right.
The air system that we have here. Works
Sure.
out quite well.
Sure.
And travel throughout the East Coast. Occasionally get out to the West Coast myself. But I'm primarily focused here on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of solution is exactly what we're doing. We're all seasoned hospital executives,
Mm-hmm.
men and women, been in the business for a good period of time.
I was about to say you ought to combine those 40 folks and all the time. It would be a couple of, I'm not even going to gauge. You'd said 40, at least since Medicare, so there's
Right.
probably a couple of years there, yeah.
And what we like to think is that we've kind of turned healthcare consulting a little bit upside down.
Is that right? Great.
And fellows and ladies like myself are out in the field. And in the office, we have young men and women, masters prepared, actually teaching us
Really?
those tools in our toolbox that are necessary. And we go out with our gray hair, if you will, and are able to relate pretty effectively when we help folks with strategy, performance, and actually in making a difference in the ever-increasing and changing environment of healthcare. So
Strategy, performance, and really making a difference in healthcare. What are some of the ways, do you mind sharing a little bit of time just how you could impact
Sure.
just a hospital X or medical center Y?
Well,
Or even if you want to give an example of if you
Sure.
feel comfortable, sure.
Well, let me give you a couple of examples. We can go in and we kind of look at how folks are doing what they're doing. Who's doing what?
Right.
Make it appropriate that the right people are doing the right function.
Sure.
It's not a question of anybody being out of work or anything of that nature,
Right.
but it's a question of helping them find the best way to do what they need to do.
Great.
Some communities have a need for a specific type of physician.
Uh-huh.
Through our statistical analysis, we're able to determine what that physician might be, what
Right.
might be helpful
Even
to that
help
community,
find that person?
and help them find that person.
Great.
We also, as a result of our gray hair, have the opportunity to say, we could tell you why this isn't going to work. Let's look at Plan A versus Plan B, and see if we can come up with an outcome that makes much more sense
Right, yes.
for you. And we also work in the area of medical staff, board, government relations, and try and work with facilities to ensure that they maintain the level of quality that they obviously have developed and have been given the credit for, and that they're able to continue to make a difference in such an ever-changing environment as healthcare,
Right.
and it's just it's a constant that needs to be dealt with, and we think we're doing a pretty good job
That
in
is
helping
critical,
folks.
Tom. That can really make a difference. And
Well,
of
we
course,
think
you know, oftentimes a group in an institution thinks, oh, we can handle our own things. But at the same time, getting folks from the outside to come in and do a little soul searching there to make sure they, because it's particularly, and not to highlight or to focus on community hospitals, but community hospitals oftentimes, because they are just that one, they're not part of a large group, they may not have the benefit to be able to turn to some other institutions within their family. I know HCA has an impact here locally, and of course groups like that where they're able to take advice off of lots of other ones. Some hospitals may be able to really, and I'm sure you work with all different types of hospitals.
We do. Our our focus is exactly that, primarily the community hospital of about 250 beds or smaller, that is looking for some type of advice and counsel, if you will.
Right.
It sometimes is very difficult to hook up with bigger consulting firms,
Right.
just because of cost.
Yes.
Our ability is to go in, work with these folks. We do work in some academic medical centers and in some health systems, but what we find is that where you get into a health system, there may be a hospital within that health system that is of the 200-bed size that actually really could use help.
Sure.
And the health system will ask us to come in and work with them in a proactive way.
Sure.
And based on the experience and our background, we think we're doing a good job in that regard.
That is tremendous, Tom. Who are some of the other principals in the company?
Well, the CEO is and founder of the company is Jan Jennings. Jan has a healthcare career that is really outstanding. Actually was the young hospital administrator for Modern Healthcare in 1983.
Is that right?
Yes, and we have our West Coast operation is run by a gentleman by the name of Gary Aiden. Gary Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
Gary is a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives.
Great.
And works in that office. And our other staff members that are out in the field that I've worked with specifically on a couple of engagements. Gene Beck, who worked for the Intermountain Healthcare System out in Provo, Utah. So it's very diversified.
Very well spread out.
It's
Good
very
ties to
diversified.
all parts. And of course, you spent much of your life, I guess, in Western New York.
I did. I spent a career in the health systems of Western New York and was in Syracuse for 6 years.
Right.
As well. But it's when you look at healthcare and you look at what people are doing and can do to help themselves, like this is a
Yeah, look at this. Here
this
at
is a
7
great-
a.m. to see this kind of a crowd out here really saying, we want to get in shape, we want to make a difference. Are you seeing that employers ever, or insurance companies trying to find ways to get folks into fitness centers?
That's a very good point. My neighbor, they all know what I've done for a living, and
Right.
my neighbor who worked up in New York City, he said, "Gee, my health insurance company just came out with a new offer." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And he said, "Well, as part of my health insurance, they're offering me a free membership."
Oh, come on, a free membership.